Hey, it's Spence from LaunchFlows.com. As a follow-up to my video this morning, which got some really good response, I wanted to show you how the patterns are going to work. Now, I showed you how easy it is to create stuff with blocks and combining other elements and then just copying and pasting it. You can also save it as reusable blocks. But here's what the patterns are going to look like. In this release of LaunchFlows, you'll be able to go to Patterns, and there'll be a category called LaunchFlows. Now, I have not propagated this, but you can see as an example, this is the one that I had just created. So out of the box, LaunchFlows is going to have many of the popular patterns. When you click on it, ta-da, you're done. And then you simply go in and edit the product ID. So in this case, it's $49.99. Let's take a look at this page, and then we'll change it to another product. And just to give you an example of how ridiculously fast and easy this is, here's my new product, and let's go back over here to my product library, and I'll just choose something else. So I'll go to WooCommerce products, there it is. And who knows, let's get this one, 50550. So all you need to do is on this page, change that number, 50550. And you can also put the other attributes in, 50550. You could also reuse the other blocks, right? So if I wanted, I could literally start from scratch and get all the attributes and just replace it here. It's so simple this way. There's not another layer of a page builder because we're at the editor level. And as pointed out in some of the comments, your entire team can work at this level, or you can partner up with other people, or you can, as we'll show you, have these in libraries of ready-to-use stuff. So you just put in the necessary widget or change, the block, or change the ID of the placeholder, and then you get this immediate result. So let's go back, refresh the page, and we'll see our other product will be in here instead. Now, one of the things worth pointing out is that this particular thing has an image that is different layout. So whereas this is a little square, this one is very tall. So those are the kind of things where you could use, for example, Editor Plus to adjust. So if I wanted to get, fuzzy with this, I could take the block and I can adjust the height and everything else, or I could just selectively make my products the right size for their display images. So 49181, let's go ahead and edit that. 49181. Now, there was a couple questions too that's been asked. Why is it, for example, that I can't see the preview on the back end? And it's really simple. Gutenberg lets us put in a proxy of what it's supposed to do. WooCommerce, in the hard way of doing things, would be running on the back end. But that's what all the other sales funnel tools are doing. And that is hard because you have to hijack WooCommerce in order to get it to run inside of the back end editor. It's not supposed to run here. Now, I could spend a lot of time and a lot of effort trying to make that happen, and then I end up in the same spot as everyone else is right now, which is this is really ridiculously hard, especially because WooCommerce itself does not support natively yet doing Gutenberg in the backend editor. Or I can do it as I have been doing, which is I just say, look, we know what's supposed to be there. This is an order bump, or this is the billing fields or the shipping fields. I give you a way of seeing it in plain English, and then you simply have a front end tab and a back end tab, and you just go and double check the work. Now, the other cool thing from a design standpoint is it doesn't take a lot of creativity to see that the stuff inside of this box is going to look exactly like this, other than maybe the height and whatever. So I can build or use all the other design components around it, and those things can display perfectly. But the actual output of WooCommerce, it's too hard, it's too unnecessary to make it a part of the back-end display, and I just feel like it would be a fool's errand. Whereas right now, you get everything you need for instant satisfaction, and this is most important, universality. Because let's say you take this particular thing that comes from a template. If you copy and use it on another website, it will not break if you don't have WooCommerce installed. It will just give you a warning, or it will just not show the content. Whereas if this had code in it to actually output WooCommerce, you would basically be in the same position. Like it would either not work or it would throw an error. Like as if you had had any other component that was designed as an accessory that required a further plugin. So I'm just simplifying the process. And right now I'm very comfortable to say that this works really, really well. And again, all the same drag and drop capabilities exist to adjust the design. You just have to imagine the output of the particular product. Ta-da. Okay, this is my sample. There will be more. The next thing I'm probably going to show is that even though it's not fully built out yet, my feeling is that these design components, the layouts, the templates, the sales funnel pages, the upsell pages, downsell, all of the design stuff can come from third parties and partnerships. Now, the partnerships I've already mentioned, we're already basically in the works with people who are making components for Gutenberg to just have them have LaunchFlows stuff in there. And we're going to already have, like I just showed you, the patterns. But I think it's very likely that at launchflows.com, I may look into the idea of doing something like Dribbble does. So if you've never been to Dribbble, Dribbble lets you, as a designer, showcase your work. And in some weird way, it makes a lot of sense to me to just let anybody who is talented have a forum, a place to showcase how awesome they are by making designs that they put either for free or maybe as an upsell to sell on LaunchFlows. We would handle the money, just distribute out whatever the relative share is. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this, so I don't want to promise this is going to happen, but it makes a lot of sense to me because this is like what's old is new again. And I don't know if I can filter here by Gutenberg. Maybe I can. Let's see if there's anybody here. Maybe there's one person that's doing something here. But like Dribbble doesn't actually give you the components, whereas what I'm suggesting is similar to Gutenberg Hub. Imagine if on LaunchFlows you just had an ability where anybody who's got some really cool designs can come and become an affiliate or a marketplace partner, if you will, and just put their stuff up. That's not to discount, by the way, like I just said, that you might already see stuff like this on Gutenberg Hub or Extendify or one of those other sites anyway. But just that if you wanted to do it independently, you might be able to just come on over to LaunchFlows, put up something that's useful. And just like here at Gutenberg Hub, this is why Gutenberg is so awesome. I want this in my site. Let's say these are already set up to have the LaunchFlows, throw the product to cart links or something. Just simply copy the code, go to the page. Let's put in a whole new paragraph and then paste. I mean, this is, may take a second to post in here. This is so ridiculously simple and powerful as to just be, how do you do it any easier than this, right? So here, for example, I go, we have a particular LaunchFlows checkout button or something, right? If you're trying to replace the existing checkout button, you could just put this in here and you're good to go. It's going to put it on the page. This is an example that it won't be functional, but you'll see what I mean. Just by adding a design. In this case, I have to add, I see it's there, but I have to style it to come out with something because it's there, but it's below, there it is. It's hidden with the color. But if you follow my drift, maybe I'll put a different plugin in here. Like, let's put, what would make sense? Empty cart. Just by adding the button in and refreshing the page. You see, we've now combined, I'll style this up too, why not? What I like to do is I like to group it. Then I like to go over here because the block is selected and I can decide how I want it to be sized and so forth. I can align it with the margin and so forth. So depending on how I want to do it, in this case, I could do sizing. I think I could just do width 100%. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see. Haven't played with this combo yet. Maybe not. I'll figure it out. But for the purposes of this video, the idea is that this component could be designed by somebody, and it might be something that's available either for free to highlight or showcase your artistic talent, or it could be something that's sold as a micropayment or something, maybe a couple bucks. Either way, it really opens up the idea that I don't need to be personally responsible for designing stuff because that is not my talent. And I also don't think that that would be a good idea because of how many components there already are out there for Gutenberg. What I do think is a good idea, though, is to make it that anybody who makes stuff can just include the LaunchFlows shortcodes or include the reference to the LaunchFlows components, and that therefore they can either themselves showcase and sell it, partners can sell it, or in LaunchFlows, if I sort it out, we might have a library. So without being repetitive, that's my thought for the afternoon. I'm going to head off to lunch, and you'll see more of this kind of stuff coming up as I smooth out the last bits of this release for 3.5.3. Maybe I might call it 4.0. We'll see. See you on the next video.